Welcome to Hashtag Set Live.
Yo, hello everybody. I am Bradford Clark, and that was Joseph on his, I'm going to get it right this time, stylophone?
The David Bowie edition stylophone.
Boom!
Yes, sir.
Finally got it. I remembered. And we are here with Gianluca Petrazzi. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
Close enough. That's a close enough look I got from him. Petrazzi?
Petrazzi is the right way of saying it, but Petrazzi
Is American.
and I would, it's like Americanly accepted. Let's say that. That's totally good.
Gianluca-
Z's or S's more in Italian, right?
It's like a TS.
Dialect. Okay.
Like
TS.
ZZ is like TS. Yeah.
Interesting. Well, Gianluca joins us today. He works in the grip and electric department throughout his career film. I'm saying that
Well,
wrong.
let's let
Forgive
him
me.
introduce
Oh,
himself. Let's let
yeah,
him
there we
introduce
go.
himself.
Why don't you tell us about
you call
yourself
definitely.
about yourself, Gianluca?
Yeah. I mean, when you're in film, I think that you can talk about your existence on set in so many different ways because you tend to morph into whatever is really handed to you. But essentially, like, yes, like currently I'm on grip and electric, and so that's the lighting department for sets. If anybody is unfamiliar with
He kills it.
with sets, thanks, Joe.
Great dolly grip, great rigger, great
Thank you.
lighting technician.
Thank you.
I've
Yeah,
never-
same to you,
not
Joe,
seen
and
you-
Bradford for sure. We're,
He knows how to wrangle a cable.
Yeah,
he
we're
knows
doing
how
it.
to run a generator. He knows
Yeah.
how to rig a light. That's what I'm talking about.
I'm just here to help out for sure. And but yeah, so right now in my journey on set, I'm in that position, and like I was a few years ago, I was a PA. I've acted on set, so I consider myself somebody that knows numerous hats on set. So,
Sure.
Yeah.
So, where did your journey start? What got you into like working in film or the
Film?
desire for it?
Yeah. Well, I've always grown up around film sets and just sets in general. My father was a stuntman in Italy,
Oh, super.
and
nice.
yeah. And I was able to have the opportunity to go on set a lot. I acted. Side note: I used to live overseas. I've moved I was born in Detroit, and I lived in Italy for most of my life, and then I moved here about 10 years ago. And I found myself on set over here too. So I came here for college, and I knew what I wanted to do because I was very inspired by, I guess, my legacy. And
So what was your major? What did you go to school for?
I went to Wayne State for film.
Film,
So
okay.
yeah, I graduated in film. It was easy for me to move to the States coming to Detroit because my mom's side of the family was in Michigan. So
dual citizenship.
exactly, yeah. It was easy for me to come to Detroit directly, even though it's not like a film mecca.
Right.
I still find that Detroit has a lot of aspects that are so creative and artistic that you can find your path in any art form in the city, even if it's film and it's not LA or New York.
You
here.
really can, yeah. Detroit
Totally.
has always been an art mecca, even when we're down and out. You know,
Totally.
Right.
Even the city's not working corporately. It's
Well,
always.
I mean, one of the
working
big things
artistically.
that happens here a lot, less so I believe now because a few of the studios have closed, but a lot of trailers used to be cut here in Detroit, so there used to
Yeah.
be a
Oh,
lot
yeah.
of ancillary things. But then also here we are, we're Motor City, so a lot of car commercials are shot here in the UP, out west. So there's a lot of that happening.
Oh yeah, with the big four being housed here for a long time. even
Right.
though a lot
Totally.
of them have moved
Right.
out of state, manufacturally speaking.
Yeah.
Sure, they assemble here, but they do not build here. You know,
Right.
No, 100%. Yeah, most of my experiences on set in Michigan, at least, have been a lot of corporate commercial. So that's a really big industry in the city and in the state in general. And there's some film that does come into town, and it's really cool to see that, and hoping that there's a bigger. There's so much potential in Michigan to film cinema, so I love seeing film coming into the city for
Yeah,
sure.
definitely.
Yeah, I mean, there's always money made commercially, especially when you meet the right people. Like, and I know that's where you and I really, like, make our bread and butter is off these commercial shoots. Like
Totally.
and sometimes like you do a lot of local stuff, and it's usually like Ford or Chevy or like Sunbelt, who like is a industrial, like they do the lifts and forklifts and backhoes and stuff like that.
There's a lot of medical and insurance and
there's
such
a lot of that
here as well.
and a lot of the sports stuff with the Big Ten.
The
'cause we have two
universities, the
schools.
local universities
local
called
universities.
out a lot of filmmakers
And this
for
commercial stuff
type
pays
stuff.
really well, and it's fun when you're working with like people and you're getting down, but it's not the same as that creative work. That
100%.
really is why any of us got started
Totally.
in this.
Yes.
So, like when you started and you decided to go for film, like what was your ultimate goal in film school? Like,
Well, it's hard to like really pinpoint, and I think that I just
did you go in wanting to be a director? Or
Yeah, I would
actor?
say
Like,
that
some people
ultimately-
have one vision, but
No.
obviously once you get there, you learn and your
Exactly,
mind changes. Not saying
exactly.
like going in. What was your
definitely directing. So
Okay.
directing was definitely something that I wanted to do. And
what made you change your mind? Like what was it about?
Or is your mind
I think
changed?
that's the thing. I think that, it's a funny way of putting it. To be on set, it's almost like we are like a circus and we're a carnival. So
Yeah.
we're all kind of just pitching in what we have to do.
100%.
And it's like and not to be derogative, but I feel like a carny when I'm on set. Like I just feel a part of this crew and moving around and so on. So obviously when you're presented the actual opportunity to do it, you take advantage of any opportunity to do it.
Yeah.
So, if you're like, well, I want to be a director, and that's your 20-year-old self saying that, and then you're like, you graduate and you're, in your mid-20s, and they're like, well, you're not going to direct right now. You're going to PA. Do you want to PA? And that is just...
Yeah, when you realize that the path to director is accepting any job to be on set
100%.
so you can find the opportunity to be a
Yes,
director.
for sure. And also, reading the energy and being a part of a project. Again, like I think the director and people that are really high up in departments are the people that are really breathing that experience, because they're essentially dictating how people are going to feel.
Yeah.
And how people are going to be run and how their set is going to be run. And I think it takes a lot of courage to like get to that point. But I think that in any case scenario, being on set, period, and whatever avenue it is, and if you have people that really love you and appreciate you for who you are, they're going to love and respect your vision and the future that you want to give yourself. So again, it's like, Grip and Electric right now, which is like my love. Like I love G&E. I'm there and I do it so much because I love being on set.
I know,
So it's like,
we met about 2 years ago, right? I think it was approximately maybe about 2.5 now. But regardless, we met on set, and then like not 2 weeks later we were on another like day job commercial together, and it just seemed to like boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, we spent like that first year almost exclusively. Like I don't think I worked a job that you weren't there.
100%.
It felt weird to not have Gianluca on set that year.
Yeah.
Thanks. Thanks.
Yeah.
And the same with everybody. I think that's the exciting part of it is like, I don't want to even be the guy that's like, this is all I know, but it's where if you really feel like you belong to that atmosphere and you want to talk to these people and you create relationships and just experiences you want to share with these people, it is ultimately work, but it's so much more than that, and you, even because we're here right now is because we've been on set together and we met each other.
Yeah.
Right.
So I know we're going kind of bouncing
whole
off
new
topics here,
family.
but like hashtag set life,
Yeah,
set
that's
life
exactly
is
what it is. Yeah.
set life is something that, again, you create that community and you, whatever situation happens, we're all like problem solvers.
Right.
We get to that point where we're on set and you're trying to solve a problem that is given to you, and as long as you're not making more problems, I think that's a big like set ethic, at least that I try to bring with me in my pocket.
Definitely.
That brings me one of my favorite things about being on set is the problem solving, and a big part of that is because I feel like the problems are always different, because if they weren't, we would already have a solution for them. So if it's a problem, it's something new.
Yeah.
But that results in every single day that you work being a different type of day.
Yes.
You never have the same day twice on set.
No, even if you are like on, let's say, the same production and you're the same people, you're in most likely a different location, or at least shooting a different scene. So there's a different circumstance. There's always a variable changing, which really it stimulates your minds in different ways, and it keeps you to being a better problem solver. It keeps you younger.
Well, and if you're open to it,
makes you feel younger as a person. Like,
watching somebody else solve a problem, you could learn something, because if it's being solved in a way that I would have done it, now I've added something to my repertoire. Like, damn, okay, that was brilliant.
Yeah,
for sure.
Like being a gaffer, if I ask a key grip like Gianluca, hey, go do this for me, and he doesn't do it the way I would have told him to do it, but I was competent enough to just say, hey, you do this. I have now learned from him just by going back and inspecting it.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing. We're constantly learning from each other.
Yeah, I think a big factor on sets is really like trusting your crew. Like, having had the experience I've directed a few projects, as like a lot of people have on set. Also, side note, like, I think that there's moments where you question your existence when you're in an environment like this, because you do still want to do your own projects. I think it's very healthy to do it, you know, and I think that
the imposter syndrome can reign a little hard sometimes when you're filling in the day paycheck job, and you're like, I could be doing better than this guy. Like, I hate above the line micromanagers. You're saying, trust your crew. 100%. Like, why'd you hire me if you're not going to trust me?
Yes.
How about you stay behind your camera and stop telling me how to rig the light?
100%.
Let me rig the fucking light.
100%. And I think that comes a lot from having dialogue. You know, it's you're giving a toy house to a bunch of adults that are like kids at heart, and they are just so excited to like be there and do it. So why would they even have the idea of wanting to not do it correctly? You know, I think that's the thing. It's
100%.
It's a privilege to be on set. It's a privilege to be on set.
It's like playing in a sandbox, but professionally.
100%. Well, and that's the thing too. It's like being professional. Being like professionality is such sometimes can be fluid on set, because it's like also
you build a rapport with people. So if there's people that you've worked with and you've become comfortable with, there is a second language that you can speak that outsiders might not get, because you've got that internal humor, calling upon something from the past.
But it has to be underlying in mutual respect.
Correct.
Or
100%.
You're never going to be able to learn from each other. And then the outsider perspective that you're talking about, like, they're not going to be able to feel included.
Right.
If you're not.
I feel like as long as you're open to it, because I'm a very introverted person. I'm not extroverted. And there may be people who know me who were like, oh, no, he's definitely extroverted, because I'm comfortable with them. And I'm familiar, like family. I'm okay with family,
You're what the philosophers would call a stoic. You're comfortable being out and talking about
beyond the self-reflection.
You have to get comfortable first.
I have that heavy introverted where when I walk into a room, like, I hate networking. I hate going into a pub or a bar where I'm supposed to meet people, and I just don't. I flock to the people I'm comfortable with, right? But that being said, I've never had a problem on set, because I'm there to be open and allowance, and everybody else. If I go in and I tell myself, like, everyone wants me here, because without me here, something's going to be wrong.
You fill a slot. You know
exactly.
These are my...
And it might take, in a 12-hour day, let's say it's a day play, right? Let's say you're coming in, you got called in, maybe one other person, they were the reason that your name got dropped in the bucket, and you're there. If by lunch you're not comfortable with at least 2 departments, I think you need to open yourself up a little more. Yeah. How do you guys feel about that?
I can agree with you.
Definitely. It's the thing. It's weird because I'm very like
as G&E, for example, you need to get comfortable with the camera department, right?
Totally.
You got to speak with the DP is going to be your lead, right?
100%.
But at the same time, getting to know the PAs if they're available.
You have to know the PAs, yeah.
They can be helpful to you. They could be the one, like, if you need to know where the bathroom is, if you need to know where Crafty is, if you just, in
I don't
general.
care what position you're in. If you ain't buttering up to Crafty people, you ain't getting fed right.
100%. And exactly, like, I think that wow, it's again, you're living with your like little family for that moment, and you position yourself into that professional realm again where you have to live with these people. So you have to find the ways to come out clean with a beautiful end product or whatever you're shooting. So you kind of you have to go with the flow, and it's a rowdy experience to be on set.
I like to say, like, because we've talked about how it's this beautiful collaboration of every art form, right? Mm-hmm. I like to say that it's this dance that we do, that when everybody fills their own spaces. You know, I totally lost it.
No, it's beautiful. It's a choreography. Yeah,
it's a beautiful
you've
choreography.
said this before, so they know. Absolutely. You're 100% right, and I think that's my favorite way that you describe what we do, because it is. It's everything weaves in and out of one another, and there are times where even on set that happens, and I think this comes from working with people multiple times.
When
so
it
being
goes
able
well,
to
it's almost
pass by
unnoticed.
somebody with equipment,
So beautiful.
you see them coming, they see you coming, you alternate and move, and then like the flow doesn't have to stop. Like that's some of my favorite moments are when I see that kind of do-si-do happen and something get accomplished.
I had one of those last night, just out in Rochester Hills. It was, I forget Anthony's last name, but he was his first time directing, and Deanna Pebbles, she was producing. She got me involved, and I came out and just, I had nothing to do that day, and my lights are free, and let's go have some fun. And we, Dale Dobson was involved.
I love
He's
Dale.
a great,
Gotta get Dale on.
Oh yeah, he's all about it. We talked about the podcast.
I've talked to him about it before as well.
But it was a short called Angel, and it was very inspiring. It was, about like how loved ones can stay with you, and what you learn from them may leave you, but you can, if you focus on it, you can find it.
Sure,
kind of
that
thing.
sounds
It
cool.
was really nice. It was touching.
Very cool.
But I mean, we did I don't know how long the end product's going to be, but we did a whole short film in I don't know, say 11 hours. But it was very.
Other than the people you mentioned, did you work with anybody new? Was it everybody else?
I did, but you know how I am with names. I'd have to.
No, that's
call
fine.
sheets.
I'm not looking for you to. I'm just as far as relative to the conversation. Like you were
that
able
was
to,
the
like,
whole reason. Like I got paid gas money to go out there. Like I did this out of wanting to meet new creators, and
So Gianluca, after you finished Wayne State, so you'd been on set previously, but after Wayne State, or even I guess maybe while you were at Wayne State, what was your first on set experience in Detroit, or was it in Detroit?
Outside of the U.S. inside the U.S. Yes, it was my first experience on set in Detroit. I used to be a server at a pizzeria called Supino in Detroit.
Okay,
That's still open. Side note, shout out to
That's some
Supino.
good
Shout out to
pizza.
Supino
That's some
forever.
Good pizza, boy.
And I made my connections like serving. And it's funny because school taught me a lot when it comes down to theory and philosophizing film, and I'll never take away anything that gave me an education. But like my encounters with work were definitely like out of my will and working outside of school. So I was on a commercial for some auto parts, and I had met Anthony Garth, who was the director, and he does a lot of commercial directing and a lot of music videos back in the day, from what I know. And he like hired me as a PA. And that was my first experience, and I just knew being on set, that was just already so special for me. But me as a human, I'm so eager to want to progress, and I know that I belong in my life, and I know that PA, just that day was the beginning of a very long journey that I was going to take on, that I'm still on.
It's addictive, isn't it?
100%. That's why I'm
life,
still
man.
doing it after
When you're on
like
it,
it's
man,
so long.
like,
it's so addictive.
It's a whole different etiquette. It's like a whole different society.
Yeah.
There's all these different rules and laws, and they're almost unspoken. Like nobody talks about them. You learn them. You know what I mean? You just figure them out as you go, and it's just
And you kind of have to, because if you want to keep paying your bills, you got to find the next
No,
gig.
totally. And that's the thing. It's like, being on set is so sacrificial in terms of finances a lot of times for people, and
Or
I
even
think
like personal relationships.
personal relationships for sure. They need to know who you are and what you're doing.
gatherings
Yeah.
sometimes because the job's too important to me
Totally.
creatively.
Totally.
You know, like it's
There's a lot of aspects, and some people may consider it narcissism, other people may consider it just fulfilling your life, and I think there's a little bit of both. But being on set in general, and it can be film or commercial, and in this moment in life, I've been experiencing a lot of commercial work, so I'm starting to actually find a lot more love when I go on like shoots for like creative
me too,
purposes.
man. Yeah.
That doesn't mean that commercials can't be creative. On a side note,
No, they
but when I
definitely
go
are.
on like a creative shoot, I'm like, this is actually really freaking awesome.
it's the pace and the pressure is totally different.
Yes,
right?
yes.
And you feel
Yeah. But I definitely take pride in commercial work. It's been teaching me, and it teaches me a profession that can be like objectively obtained, and I like that because it's very pretty. And I think a lot of times that like commercials give you that like knitted, beautiful, crisp look where I can like bring that to the table as just an artist when I'm even doing creative work. Sorry, I want something to look crisp and clean.
Yeah.
And that may not be the options that every director or director of photography wants. So I'm like, okay, now I'm aware that I'm actually making a style because of my experiences, and I'd love to portray them in other forms still of moving images.
100%, man. That's exactly something that I like in every project creatively that I bring to the table, because like that's really where, because my first year really like, grinding into commercial work was when we met.
Yeah.
And like we both kind of broke in at the same time. That's why we like bonded so quickly.
Totally.
I feel like.
Yeah.
But my point being that, like, when I go to the creative stuff, like the thing last night, like the DP asked for one thing, right? But I said, okay, what's the problem you want to solve?
Yeah.
And he told me, like, I just want the shadow to be more like this, and I would like the light to look more like this. And I said, okay, can I show you what I want to do rather than what you're asking? And if you don't like it, I will give you what you're asking. And I gave him what I thought, and it was better than what he was thinking.
Right.
Because I gave
Well, you
him
asked
this.
you asked the right question. What
It
problem are
was
you
all
trying to
about
solve?
get out of your head and stop trying to, because this guy was kind of new at DPing, and he knew
Okay.
that I was a veteran, so he was a little timid with me. And Greg, if you're listening, you did well, because I said to him one time, I said, get the problem out of your head and onto the table so I can see it. Let's discuss it. And let's use each other's experience to figure out how we can get this done.
Yeah.
Right? And once I said that, he just boom, boom, boom. He was talking to me, and we flew through. That's the only way we got done in 11 hours.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't a long, it's not going to be a long short, but the concession of everybody focusing together and collaborating together.
Yeah.
And like, it was like a pinnacle of efficiency. Like, it was really nice.
That's where it was. I went to the fridge looking
really
for that
nice.
for you.
Oh, thanks. Thank you. Yeah, I got one. Cheers.
So, Gianluca, after that video, you said it was a commercial?
Yeah. Yeah. it
After
was
that, as a
commercial.
PA, how long did you PA, or did you find other roles and you
Yeah.
additionally did PA? What was kind of the progress going forward to solidifying you in like this as like a main way that you gain your finances?
Yeah, for sure. So, first of all, as you said correctly, like sacrificed a lot. I started PAing, and I PA'd for about a year and a half, I think. And then I just had this urge of wanting to strive for more on set, and that was what I needed to do as a job. But I did need more finances. So like, we live in, a capitalistic like world, and I think that's something to like raise awareness about, especially young people that are potentially listening that want to get into this industry, is a lot of self-investment and a lot of sacrifice.
You
So I
better
want-
get into it for the
Yeah.
art, but know the business.
Yeah, for sure. And so I did approach a local grip and electric team called Scotia. So I had to shout out to Scotia. And I
I got some
approached
great gear. Good prices.
100%. I approached Joe Vargo, who's one of my mentors for sure. Like, definitely he's somebody that I really, really talk to a lot after being a PA and trying to, get into the film and commercial work. And so I definitely went on, and I'm still on a journey with them as I am with everybody else. And I started getting into like corporate commercial through them, and that was what I'm doing right now. But I've also been trying to like break through and wanting to direct more. And again, I think this is something to say as well. Just if you are invested in film, that doesn't mean that you're tied to one thing. Like, yes, I'm a grip or a gaffer or this, but I do want to still be a director. And I think that must be vocalized way more for upcoming filmmakers. You're still a part of that community.
Bring up a great point.
You bring it, you're in that world.
If you want to be an actor, if you want to be a director, if you want to be a stunt person, go out, be a PA, be a background extra. Like, find any way to get yourself on set to learn and just watch whatever role you aspire to.
Totally.
And watch them from the seat that they give you.
And something that Gianluca touched upon there that is incredibly important, and that's understanding. Like, he was just at work serving pizza, but he had his ears open to something that led him to an opportunity.
Yeah.
So, and I'm not saying that you need to like harvest your place of work. What I'm saying is always keep your ears and eyes open to opportunities and conversation. I was in Kentucky recently for a film. And one late evening after I was second AD, me and the first were up late doing some work. And
shout out Chris Warren.
When Chris.
Hey.
When it was time for us to go to bed, we went to our separate rooms. I was on 4, he was on 5, and there was this other gentleman in the elevator with us. And we were kind of just digressing our last few sentences before I got off on 4. And by the time I got to my room, he sent me a text and was like, dude, you'll never believe this, but that old guy that was in the elevator with us used to be a DP for commercials. So that particular story doesn't necessarily lead anywhere because he was retired. He'd been out of it for 17 years, but he could have also been 30 years younger.
The rhetoric and body language between you and Chris made him immediately communicate to Chris.
Right, but so envision that he was 30 years younger and on vacation, and he, that could have been a conversation that Chris could have taken further. But it's random. We were in Kentucky. He was there to see the eclipse. Right. So super rare moment that could have been capitalized on. Had the opportunity been something different than it was. He was retired. He was of no interest in furthering. But he found it interesting that we were talking about it.
Exactly. Yeah. It's a new social connection was stemmed just off of, like, they probably could have not talked at all.
Yeah.
But he was like, oh, you guys.
Plus, the hotel knew we were there. Like, we were the biggest thing happening in Paducah, Kentucky. So, like, everyone knew where the film people were staying.
That's cool.
It's exciting.
It's so cool, though.
It is
because you went there and I think something in media in general, like, you realize how big the world is, and nobody else
and
is
how
gonna
small it is at the same time.
Totally, and it's like going to places where it could be God knows anywhere, and like, but you're experiencing it on that level. You're on set, and it could be anywhere, and that's where the carny part, I'd say, comes around. You're going everywhere.
I 100% agree with you, though. I 100% agree with you.
Like,
it's a great analogy.
For because everyone reports a new location every day. It doesn't matter if it's the same project.
Yeah, like, the family aspect of it. I'm almost jealous of them, get to spend more time with each other.
Right.
Like, because we have a culture. We have a culture.
Our relationships are so.
You show up to an address and you just like walk in, and you're not worried about anybody. Be like, "Do you walk here?" I'm like, "Hey, what's up?" And you say your name, they're like, "Oh, you're this guy." Okay, the G&E's over here. Like,
totally. It's a culture. You can go on set anywhere. Yeah, the terminologies may be different, but they're really not that far off compared to what you're used to. So,
and there's in this Kentucky job, I was working with a lot of people from California, and there's just ways things are done differently
Totally.
there. And, you know, they work on big projects. So it's like
Yeah.
I was there to learn something. But
Oh,
at the
yeah.
same time, and I don't remember what the conversation was, but I spoke up and said, I was like, yeah, we do it differently in Detroit, but we're still doing it right.
Yeah.
Like, it's different, but the same.
Yeah.
Totally.
So,
Well, then you got
well, even if
you got people like
the
one of our
UK
favorite
calls
people,
everything different than
Gary
us.
Brunner.
They don't have seconds, they have thirds. We don't have
Right.
thirds here in America.
Yeah, I mean, anywhere. Even, you know, in India, they have Bollywood. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure everything is so different, but it does
Same, but different.
100%.
Well, look at what-
I'm sure you'll
you
add
could,
a-
you could
yes.
just find, like, it's like double Dutch, right? You're like, okay, yeah, I got this. And you just jump in and
Exactly.
something's going to click and you're just
Yeah.
going to get it done.
Yes.
Even if you don't speak the same language, you know, I imagine there's something that a grip can do. Like, if he's standing there holding a dolly and he looks over and he points, I'm probably looking
You
for
know.
cribbage, right?
You know what's going
Where
on.
them shims at, baby. Yeah. No, but like Gary Brunner, you know, one of our favorite actors, a great man.
Yeah.
Great artist. He did a movie recently, or I don't know, 6 months ago, whatever, in Louisiana. And he, you know, he had a good time, but he was like, I missed my Michigan people because we could have knocked out twice as many scenes.
Yes.
There was the hustle that we have here.
When people
even
learn
without
that we
the
do
money.
10 pages a day here, which I don't
Condone,
advocate
no.
for at all. But we have to get done
I mean,
what we
if
get
you
done.
can, yes, but do it
Yeah.
properly.
Right. But that being said,
It can be done.
and people have been amazed.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, but here's the thing: you're going to get the product that you get out of that. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Man,
but
I did 17 pages last night, 11 hours, but it was one like we were in
Yeah.
2 rooms, 3 rooms.
a lot
the
of
whole
talking
day.
then, not a lot of dialogue. Because an eighth of a page can be a day of
It was
shooting.
a lot. It was a lot of movement and action, not a lot of dialogue. It
It
was
depends, too.
music, actually, too.
Everything is so different. Every project, every day is so different. As we were mentioning, like, sometimes it just doesn't click, you know?
Yeah.
And you're like, and coming from a world of
I don't care how
commercial,
much
it's
info
like,
you give
yeah,
me. Sometimes I can't quantify how long it's going to take.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
I
You
get.
can
I mean,
plan
as
it
an
out as
AD,
much
that's a
as
question
you
I get
want.
asked a lot. How long is it
Plan it
going
out
to
as
take?
much as you want.
I'm like, listen, I can tell you how long it should take,
Human
or how long
condition
you
comes
have,
in,
rather.
yeah.
That's what I can say. I can tell you how
Who's
long you
gonna flake
have.
out?
It's up to you guys to get it done in that time.
Totally.
What contingency is going to just pop up? Like, is it weather? Is it somebody being late? Is it somebody being flaky? Is it? There's all these things that you
100%.
can never plan for.
So, what are some methods that you utilize to increase jobs? Are there websites that you
Yeah.
subscribe to that do job postings? What methods do you utilize to?
Yes. It's such a tricky subject when it comes down to film, because I will definitely put in first place word of mouth. Like, word of mouth in film and in commercial or anything involving very expensive equipment is word of mouth.
Personal and professional networking.
100%.
100%. Yeah.
So yeah, that's number one. I'll put number two, like Facebook and LinkedIn. That's what I use personally.
Social presence, like
Yes.
internet presence.
Yeah, internet presence for sure. And then this is again so subjective because, you know, we live in a world where that runs everything is
Yeah.
social presence. But I think a lot of times when you're an artist and you're so present on socials, and that's when it becomes all that matters. It loses almost its artistry. Like I'm very traditional when it comes down to certain things. I like very intrapersonal relationships with people, including my friends. And this is coming from my artist side of the brain. Is like, I just think that it just really depends on the subject, because there's people that, for example, like artists that are not alive today, they don't have social media, like,
Right.
or they do, but they
Prince
don't.
has a fucking Facebook.
He does, but
And
it's
an
like
Instagram.
Fuck, he does.
he does, but
His
it's
estate
like
does.
I think that
Exactly.
you can lose yourself so
A
much.
conglomerate that has financial interests controls it. That's not the artist.
Exactly.
Sinatra was around, died well before the internet, and he's got a page.
and that's the crazy
Fuck
thing
out of
is
town.
like existentialism is like plays a big role for set life if
Or
we
as
want to bring
Sinatra
it
would
back.
say, Fly me to
Yeah.
the moon. Sorry. Continue. My
I,
apologies.
no, I wanted to say the other lyrics of it, but I freaking forgot the lyrics of the song. But it's so hard because you're trying to put it as a job, but it is an art form as well, and it's you're fighting between these two, and that's your conflict, you know.
Yeah.
If you're your main character of your movie or of your own movie of your life, and you're on set, your conflict is trying to
your own inner
bash in
turmoil.
both,
Yeah.
you know?
I'm at
Do I
point-
do everything I would love to do,
Yeah,
or do I
exactly.
survive and actually pay my bills?
Totally.
Like,
I'm terrible about keeping up with my personal social network pages because one, it's very rare for me to take a photo. I just posted some photos from this gig I did in Wisconsin, and I'm in none of them because I don't turn the camera on me.
Yeah.
When I turn the camera on me, I'm feeling incredibly uncomfortable. Mostly
boomeristic
because
almost,
mostly
like-
because when I turned, like the last time I turned the camera on me was when I was at Eloise doing Tweed, and it was it was what's the word I'm looking for? Like it was promotional. It was really the only reason I felt to do it. I was like, oh, this would be nice to put
Yeah,
this out there,
yeah.
and tag it #SetLife. And if it wasn't for work, I would no longer be on social network.
media. No, not at all.
You know,
sure.
that can't be said when I first got on it. In fact, yes, it can, because when I was at Specs, I've forgotten.
Specs.
That's what I thought. They made it a point that you need to get on Facebook, and at that time it was just a fucking farm game for me. And I was like, well, no, I don't need that. Like my roommate was doing it, other people I knew do it. They're like, no, this is how you need to network and be existence, and that's how you're gonna get jobs in TV and
This
radio
isn't
and
do
forward.
you, baby
But
boy. Come on.
It's a lot of work, and
Don't fight it.
I'm torn between the fact that I want to
gotta
be,
ride it.
I want it to be successful because I want to be seen and remembered, but at the same time, I don't want to be a content creator. I'm not
Totally.
looking to be
Totally.
someone known for his Instagram or known for, but if that, it seems to be that even if you have a greater product to sell, that's the
Still the
freeway you need to
avenue.
jump on and
Yeah.
find your way in that traffic.
Yeah, it's a tightrope I walk. I'm like, do I pick up my phone every day and document some stupid shit and eventually like just make videos out of this every day? Because ultimately I am somebody who needs money to help fund creating, because
Right.
I know firsthand that being creative for a living costs fucking money, right? Like,
Yeah.
I can't rightfully ask my friends for favors to help me do my film because I make money off of going and working on people's films, and I know what the positions are worth and the effort that goes forth and the part of your heart and soul that goes into it.
Sure.
Honestly,
Sure.
whether money's involved or not, there is heart in
You're there.
every avenue
You're there.
of this.
For sure, yeah. And then bouncing on the social media aspect, it's so personal preference, and depends on who you are. And I think, at least from my personal experiences, I can only speak on my personal life experiences. In this case, is like, if you get caught up in that, like, concept of I'm comparing myself consistently with people and looking at other people's things and like seeing it rather as like more of an accomplishment for them as like a flex or like something to go against everybody else, like I think it defeats the purpose of like what you're actually doing as like an artist, or as just a creator in general. And again, me personally, like, for example, I'm not on Instagram at the moment because it makes me feel like too comparing. And I think that I really wanted to enjoy my life as an artist.
You don't want to deal with people and their illusions. They want to deal with them face to face.
100%. But also even in like the art world, it's like, if something has to happen, it'll happen. Like, if Daniel Day-Lewis, he's, I just don't see him like on Instagram. Like, I think there's certain elements of artistry that have to be respected, to respect yourself, I think even acting or directing, like, you're this illusion of creating, and if you're putting yourself out there too much.
That's a refreshing perspective.
For sure.
Yeah, thank you
For sure.
sharing
Yeah,
that.
totally. If you're putting yourself too much, it's...
I like it a lot.
Yeah. How I like to say it is like getting your soul absorbed by other things. And I think that you preserving yourself and being able to demonstrate when it's the right time and to the right people, I think that's something that at least younger generations, which I'm hoping younger people listen to these podcasts as well, is like to keep that in mind, that respect your life, like be so selfish with your life as an artist too.
Yeah.
Because we do compare a lot and we do make sure to like always, I need to do better, and that's beautiful and that's great, but
In my experience, I mean, it took me a while. I'm older, now, but I have a balanced life. I'm happy. I have a family. I'm doing well career wise. But when I was young and striving to be an artist, like I went through everything. I experienced. I said no to things I wanted to say no to, but a lot of times I said yes to things that made me a little uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Just like because that could be fun. You know what I mean?
Totally.
Like, why?
Totally.
Like, don't live in your lane is really.
I think
what
that
you're
right
getting
there
at.
is actually something really good. A point to just dissect
Live
right
your
there.
life.
No, well, yes, but where you said take a chance at something that you might not like, if something just comes and you're afraid, but you do it, like that.
Live out of your comfort
That
zone.
is 100% how you stay working in this industry.
Know when to
Yes,
say no.
yes. Going back to that too, it's like we're all here to talk about set life, and it's funny because being on set is like we're filming reality that's written, and like we are living a certain type of life because
Even
we're living
unscripted,
life
shit's
that's
hammed the fuck up.
sure. You're living life that's being like recorded, and it really messes with your mind because you're seeing certain things that not everybody sees. Like,
Yeah.
I had this experience. I went to the gym one day, and there's all these TVs, and I was watching the TVs, and I recognized like multiple commercials I was on, and the idea of seeing that on the other side and being so aware of life and existence, it brings it back to the art form, and it brings it back to like you are when you're doing either a narrative or even a documentary in certain ways, but even commercials, you're narrating life. So we live life on a whole other spectrum, I think.
Yeah.
If you're aware of that set, like
Being
literally,
aware of knowing everything that went behind that commercial
Yes.
just to get whoever's on that treadmill next to you
100%.
to buy that stupid
Yeah.
truck or whatever.
and think big movies too, like you're influencing people.
Oh, yeah.
Like that's the thing. It's like we are the Matrix in a way. Then I can go deeper and deeper, but like we are making something that people see and are influenced by because it's imprinting on our brains. And it can be from a film to a documentary to a commercial, and being responsible with that and being aware that that's our job in the world is incredible. I think set life is the best life.
I love that. I think we're gonna have to like schedule some kind of like hashtag set life, a retrospective of psychology and how entertainment works. No, like we're gonna go deep into it. And
So we've spoken a bit about
it'll be
Facebook.
outside of your regular programming.
We spoke a little bit about Facebook and your current situation with
Sure,
Instagram, but
sure.
you did mention something there in tandem with that, and that's LinkedIn.
Sure.
Can you expound upon your use of LinkedIn a little bit? Because I haven't really
Yeah.
used LinkedIn since I was in sales, which
Yeah.
is now that was 2017, 18. And my last experience with it, because everyone kept saying, you need to get on there. That's the way to network and this and that. And I spent some time on there, and it really just started to feel like Facebook, but with a more, not necessarily a more adult approach, but
Yeah.
what the users believed to be a more adult approach. But it was still spamming. It was still a lot of there was just a lot
Totally.
of similarities I saw between the two.
Yeah.
So I kind of abandoned it.
For sure.
And then when I got into film, it didn't really come across to me like that's where I would find my peers.
Yeah, I mean, and again, this is all so subjective, like to the world. Like this is so subjective. For me, LinkedIn is a way to express myself professionally and polished and academically. I want to be proud of what I did in my life, and I went to school. And shout out to people that haven't been to school because everybody has their own journey, and it really depends on where you're coming from. So it works well for me because, and again, it can work well for anybody else, is because it gives me the opportunity to potentially even see people that are outside of the country on a professional level, and people that maybe could give me an opportunity. I think a lot of like crowdsourcing and just like figuring out what you want to do is really really good for LinkedIn. I think putting yourself out there on that level is good. It's a very healthy way and it can be healthy on Instagram, it can be healthy on Facebook, it can be healthy on everything. But again, it's so subjective. Like for me, like the Instagram was not like the healthy way I wanted to approach my career. So for work, like I use LinkedIn because I think people look at you at a certain way. I don't want to be seen as like somebody that's like begging for work, or LinkedIn, like trying to like be there and like really like grasping on. I just share.
People have to know you exist.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like,
and what your skills are, what your talents are.
Yes, but it comes down to, again, like being an artist and being an artist 24/7. Like when you're an artist 24/7. You have a lot of feelings that go into everything you do, and like me as a person, like LinkedIn or Facebook just gives me that chance to just like give this part of me that I want people to see. And then I can philosophize about anything. If you give me a wall, I'll like be an artist about a wall. Or if you give me a piece of wood or like a cork of a wine, like I will like dissect it. And I think LinkedIn gives me that guidance of just like, this is what my professional self wants to like be portrayed as.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do you use it? Like, is LinkedIn time a part of your scrolling session? Do you engage with other people on your thread? How do you communicate with others? How do they communicate with you?
Totally. You communicate on a really formal level. I think that's something that I really wanted in my life. Just like under work levels, I think I'm very like quote unquote informal. Like you talk about anything, I'll go very deep about it, and that's the nice part of being on set or being in this work environment, is that when you do get to meet these people, even if it's on LinkedIn, then you get to meet them in person or do something with them, and they get to know who you really are, which is like a very passionate person, and like you want to be around them more because they give the right energy to the set. So I think it's a great way to divide your like professional self from your actual self, which fortunately and unfortunately kind of comes in hand when you're on set. You're just who you are, like, because you can hide it all you want, but you are yourself on set.
But I think that's most important, to be yourself, because I think it's very difficult if you express yourself in one way and then behave in a different way to try and keep your lies together. Like,
if you're going to spend 12 hours a day with people, you just need to be honest.
Yes. One of the things that I've loved most about being on set is the fact that I can finally be myself. In my previous employment, I was in sales, I was in marketing, I was in customer service. There was always a facade. I was acting the entire time.
I hate that mask.
There's the different voice I used, my smile that I hated, and it was exhausting. Whereas now I offer a service and a talent and skill set that allows me to just show up as Bradford. And you're hiring me based on that. I fully acknowledge that there are going to be jobs that I don't get because they don't like Bradford, and that's fine.
Well, you're not in the service industry,
right?
You're a creative,
yes,
correct,
but it's
specialist.
Who I don't know who it was, but I think there was an actor that was saying that anything in life you're acting like anything you do. Like even right now we're acting like we're acting to an extent.
I agree.
So it's almost in a way that maybe your Bradford self or my Gianluca self or your Joe self loves acting that role to be on set.
Right.
And that's at least how I personally feel, is I love being on set because I love being that acting self of myself. And I think it is because people are actually acting, so I really kind of like that subconsciously. And I know it's like this weird kind of concept, but
in love with playing make-believe stuff.
Yeah,
so I love acting, like whether it be playing a role or I guess being on set and being the gaffer and playing whatever role, the DP or whatever. Because sometimes the DPs play creative. You know what I mean? He's
sure.
I want your light here, and you down it at 45. I'm like, how about you tell me you put the light up and let me
Everybody's a little different.
Yeah, everybody's a little different.
Yeah.
I prefer.
But I mean, let's be honest.
Trusting.
When they tell you, I was like, all right, well, I'd like that one at 25%. And you know for fucking sure it needed to be at 30%.
Yes,
I know. Yep.
You dial it to 30. They ask you, hey, what was that at? Oh, you're at 25.
Yeah, but going back to what you were saying,
I lie all the time.
The
I'm
LinkedIn,
not a liar, but to assholes, I will lie. When I'm right and you just need to be placated, I will lie to you. So be nice, and I'll be honest all the time.
The LinkedIn thing is a factor where you basically show that you know how to do this and you know how to do it professionally. And then everything.
Do you demonstrate any work on there? Is it photos?
Yeah, I demonstrate work for
Are there
sure.
Videos?
Yes.
LinkedIn,
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
I have a profile, but it's from years ago, so I definitely need to revamp it.
mine
It's a
needs
type of
cleaning.
community. It's definitely a
But
type of community.
It's definitely all about professionalism and
For sure.
not about personalism. Like
At least for me, or
you're
or
not
Joe,
the first
you know?
person recently to advocate this to me. John Bujak from Mongoose Films, who's become a recent friend of mine and recent fan of the podcast. Actually, I think shout out John.
Shout out John.
Mongoose Films is really entwined in the medical aspect and the reality TV aspect of the Michigan film industry. So I'm very happy to be starting working with them.
Yeah.
And it's done well. I've known.
But you were saying he was recommending LinkedIn?
Yeah, he was recommending LinkedIn
It's a way of presenting
about
yourself.
presenting yourself
Totally.
professionally in a social media manner without worrying about your personal life leaking into it.
Yeah.
That's what it's become.
Do you
That's what it was originated for.
No,
but
for
it's
sure.
What does your photo look
working
like
that
on
way.
LinkedIn?
My photo is a photo that my friend took, and it's very magazine-ish.
Is it the Odiadama one where you painted all white?
No, that was another part. No, it's.
But I guess like that's back
it's
to
an
that,
artistic.
That's back to that acting thing, right? Like
For
there's
sure.
a different presentation on LinkedIn than there is on
play that
Facebook,
role.
which was the specific thing that you wanted to separate.
Without a doubt, and again, like if I'm really gonna know somebody or meet somebody, I will. I think the concept of time as being a filmmaker, still hashtag set life, like is no, to keep it still in context because, you're living a privileged life when you're on set, and I think that it's something to like take accountability for. You have this responsibility to like still keep it on a certain level of professionality, and I think that's why I approached that. I'm sorry, I'm like kind of wrapping my head around things, but like
I get it 100%. Like you show up to this place, like if it's a properly run set, like you show up at sometimes 4 a.m., sometimes 10 a.m. Regardless, any minute between that, you show up there's food there. Like you get up and you go to set like
because there were people doing it too, and I think that's like the thing too. It's
you got breakfast, you got coffee, you got lunch, you got people ready to take care of you in a fashion that because you're supposed to be so focused on your task that you don't even need to think about your basic bare necessities. That's a fun job to be at.
Yeah.
If it's done right.
Yeah.
Totally.
Oh yeah. And you said something earlier that was very important that
It's refreshing.
I don't think we touched too much on, at least today. We do it before, but you said it's fun, but it's work.
totally.
You know, like it is.
But if it's fun, you feel like you're playing in a sandbox.
Right, but right,
Yeah.
but what I'm saying is, like it's genuinely hard work. We can talk about how we love it, and we do, but it's because we acknowledge that like
Exhausting,
we're skimming over, the amount of heavy objects we move, the weather that we are in, the hours that we work, the hours that we get up.
the crowded situations I'm
Right.
carrying 200 pounds through.
But the
people
reason we
wanna
don't-
move out of the way.
The reason that we don't talk about these things is while there are people who that would just end the opportunity for them, that just like there's no way I could work out in the heat like you guys do or whatever it may be. We don't even mention it in this conversation because
we love
it's-
what we do
yeah,
so much. It's just a byproduct. Like,
Right.
no.
And so I do want to kind of highlight and really bring up the fact that as fun as we make it sound, it is work. And you should read something in what we're saying where because we love it so much that we forget about those things that we bitch about in the moment. I mean,
all
don't get me
horror
wrong.
stories that
we
leak out,
bitch.
they're all real.
Yeah.
But those come from the weakest of us.
Yeah.
So, I'm glad you brought that up,
quitters.
by the way. I'm glad you brought that up, Bradford,
It's a
because
horror story from every project.
exactly, and also like, I think for me, again, speaking out of my experiences, always, I thought it was like so much fun. And I still, of course, I always think it today, but it takes a lot of maturing to realize it is a job, like, and take it on seriously. And not that I didn't take it seriously before, but when you get to that self-awareness of this is actually what I need to like eat off of.
Yeah.
Right.
It becomes...
Yes, I'm living my dream,
I think
but
that's,
this is
yes.
a profession.
Yes, that's where the professionalism kicks in. And I think for how it may be LinkedIn, going back to socials or whatever, or word of mouth, like, that's the thing. It takes really one person to meet, and they may come up with a huge project, and you may have the opportunity to be a part of it because you may be bonded with that person, or for whoever it may be. It can be a producer, it can be, but if you're referenced and you're recommended, you can hop into a crazy project. You can wake up tomorrow to a phone call where you're like, yo,
100%.
You're about to hop on a 12-hour flight to get here, and we're shooting this for 3 months.
Since Trevor got me on Stealing Jokes back in 2022, we met Jeff George. He's a wonderful DP. He has called me several times.
100%. And that's the beauty of it.
He pulls me aside at the Miffia Mixers. Me and Jeff have gotten, to kind of be friends. We're definitely more than colleagues.
It's all about your relationship.
Sure.
It is all about the relationships that you build. And honestly, it's a reputation because you can...
Why do I sound hollow? Isn't it?
I don't know. I've been hearing that myself. That's why I should have turned me up. I don't know. I've just ignored it for 57 minutes.
It didn't sound like this before. I didn't touch anything.
Yeah, when we came back and started this episode, I don't know. But what I was saying was your name can be brought up without your presence there, and that is a goal. And your goal should be that when your name is brought up, it's in positive fashion.
For sure.
And it really is important to your survival to make an impression at every job that you go to. The first time that I worked with Gianluca was on a film that I've yet to see, but it did go to Sundance last year, and that's To Live and to Die.
Was it Sundance or South by Southwest?
No, they went to Sundance.
Sundance, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so crazy.
Flew out and told that story on the show.
That was summer of 21, and Gianluca was a PA. I was a grip, and watching him work was fascinating to me because unfortunately for most of us, I would say the crew was probably 60% professional, 40% figuring it out.
Sure.
Right. And,
with all due respect and love, like,
100%.
I was like, and again, that's the thing. It's like thank goodness now you're on a set. Right. Now you know. And now the next set you're going to be on, you're not going to do the mistakes you did on your first set.
Right. Everybody's got to learn.
Just on a side note.
Somewhere.
Yeah.
100%, man. Hell yeah.
But I could see the effort that he put in because as a PA, I think there was, how many PAs were
like
there?
Three or four.
Yeah, there was a fair amount.
Wait,
and
you were a PA?
Oh yeah.
I was a PA on
To Live and Die.
To Live and to Die. Yeah.
Dude, how did I not have this guy Hollywood and the light over the camera?
Oh no,
like,
no. In fact, search YouTube. What the fuck was it called?
What the heck?
Oh my God,
Dang.
Phil's show. Damn it!
Yeah.
If it comes to you, let me know.
I got you. Keeping up with the grips.
Keeping up with the grips. Thank you. There's an episode where we talk about being
Shout
a
out
grip.
Bill Baumhart,
and
you black-hearted motherfucker.
we brought on Gianluca, and this I think I'm tying this in with the relationship that we've been talking about. As a PA, we got to know him. We've talked about this before, but on that particular set, the grips were a get in, get the job done, and then we sat outside waiting for adjustments and things. There was a lot of downtime for us, but we had to be at the ready.
Yes.
Because they were in a super locked set. We lit for 360, and the director, DP Cosm, was just moving. Like, you just couldn't be in the way. There wasn't room for us.
No.
But that gave us some time to get acclimated with each other and, the joking, the language that we were talking about. But I remember a time when you had mentioned that you were a little tired because of how late you had been up because the PAs were at the production office for a number of hours preparing the call sheets for the following day. And I was like, what the fuck, dude? So the reason I'm bringing this up is because I for our listeners, I'm going to just beat in the don't say no to a PA job. what are some of the random shit you've done as a PA that really like maybe surprised you at the time, but at the same time equipped you with being better in the future? Like you were grateful, like that sucked, but you were grateful because now you know, and it equipped you for, you know, moving beyond being a PA into getting into something else. Yeah,
definitely. I think it's funny you mentioned To Live, To Die, and To Live, because that was like the first time where I was like, with all due respect to PAs, but screw PAing. I want to freaking be on a department, dude. Like, I want to be in the thick of it. Like, right away. But something weird, I guess. I've never had anything like super crazy go on besides pick up coffees for people.
Yeah. So so then maybe what are some of the day-to-day things that you did have to do?
What I had to do as a PA was, you know, you're the civil servant of everybody, but in the great way.
Search it up yourself, because I can't find it anywhere.
What are you trying to find?
It? Keeping Up with the Grip.
No, it's out there. They can find it themselves. I'm not trying to air it over here.
I didn't even know.
No,
it's not there.
We're in a conversation.
Can't find it.
It depends. I mean, you're there to. Gosh, being on set is as a PA is something where you have to steal with your eyes nonstop, and you have to make sure everybody is good on production side, and you got to make sure that people are hydrated and people are there and present. And the thing is, as a PA, you know what's going on, but you really don't. At least in my experience, I really love describing my career as like working on sets as like a human life. Like I felt like a toddler. Like I was just kind of like goo goo gaga and everywhere. You know, I was trying
like,
to see.
Someone left half bottle of water.
Yeah, you kind of. It's a very complex thing. Again, you're combining professionalism with art, and when you're just a young lad and you're there on set, you really don't know what's going on, but you're figuring it out.
Right.
So.
And then when you moved outside of that and you look back, you see the essential necessity of being a PA.
Yes, for sure.
Like, we need them.
Like, I see the essential necessity of having grip and electric on set. Like, I see the essential necessity of having any sort of department on set. And that's the thing, too, is a lot of, it depends on what you're doing, but a lot of people, for example, that are investing in a project that have never been on set, for example, and this can be from corporate to personal, and it doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. They're like, well, why do we have all these people doing this? And it's like, well, there's a lot of responsibilities that need to be accounted for.
And they need a singular focus.
No, for sure. And that's the thing.
If you want it done right, you can't
if you want it done
redirect
right.
focus.
I can wear 4 hats.
Right.
And I can do 4 different things.
But you're going to get
the
quality of work.
One at a time.
Yeah, you're going to get the quality of work that one person doing 4 jobs is going to give you.
Well, you also have the factor of time. So
correct.
You have more people on set.
You're going to get shit done quicker.
If they know who they are and they know how to work together, you're getting shit done quicker.
And that's the other thing about defined job responsibilities is everyone knows what their job is, so you don't have to tell them. You just, when
100%. I have seen problems arise and be solved before they're realized, and we just say action.
Yeah.
And that's actually something
it's a beautiful
really
thing.
Yes, totally.
27 people go to work, so the client don't even know.
Yeah.
100%. 100%.
Well, thank you, Gianluca. I really appreciate the conversation that you've had with us tonight.
Before we go,
Joe.
I would like to see if he has any story, because I know, like, of your time in Italy as a young child. I know you were born here, raised here, and then
I was raised there.
A lot of time raised in Italy.
Yes.
And your father was a stuntman.
Yeah.
And you had some time on set and did some childhood acting.
Yeah.
This is a personal thing he's told me. I don't know. Are you comfortable telling?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I
was on a TV show called Like a Dolphin in English, but it's called Come un Delfino in Italian. Mm-hmm. And I co-starred in this drama which revolved around swimming, and it was about a group of juvenile delinquents that get a swim coach that basically gives them kind of like a rehabilitation program. And it was huge for like the first year that it came out, dude. Like, I'm not even kidding. I would go out of my house and people would recognize me, and I'm not even trying to flex or anything.
But it was Italy, you were like Doogie
for
Howser.
sure. I was definitely
he was MPH at one time.
People recognized me for sure. And it was like very interesting.
Was the coach fondling genitals? Is that what
no. There was no bad.
No, I'm just fucking
things,
around.
just straight up. If anybody hears this, there's no bad things going on because I was relatively young. I was 17 when I shot that. I'm 30 now.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
So I was really young, and
That's awesome.
that experience opened my mind to being on set. And this is a thing. Like, I think it's breaking the barriers of just thinking of it as an art form, but it's a lifestyle. And that's something that I'd love to say to the audience that's listening is like, you create those relationships with people and you fall in love with people and other people that are so passionate about the same thing. And that's what it's really all about. It is about the final product. And
when you ask your friends in that lifestyle, when you're not in that lifestyle, how do I get into it? You just dive in head over heels. That's how we did it. It's hard work and
definitely
and blind fucking faith.
Yes.
Because otherwise we wouldn't be here. And
Blind
that's
faith
why
and a belief in
nobody's going to
yourself.
hand it to
Yes.
you.
Blind
Believe
faith
in
and
yourself.
believe in
and
yourself.
You will do it. That's right.
and follow your dreams. And also one last thing is
Hard
like,
work, baby. And who
do
you
everything
know.
you can
Who
to
you know.
make yourself happy. And if
Yeah,
it's
100%.
being on set and you want to be there and you want to do multiple things on set, don't stop at being a PA. Don't stop at being a grip and electric camera. You can do anything you want because
Yep.
it is art and it has to be expressed more.
Yeah, everything
Wonderful.
is learnable and everything is
Yeah.
attainable. Just do what follow that heart rate.
Always.
yeah.
Still now.
Well, let's do our sign-offs, gentlemen. Gianluca, thank you very much for coming on tonight. Is there any way that you want to connect with people online, or is there any products that you want to direct them towards, something to check out, something to watch or listen to, or whatever?
Yeah, definitely keep an eye out on my LinkedIn page since we talked about that. It's at Gianluca Petrazzi. I think they're going to be writing it on
You'll be able to find the spelling of his name right
Yeah,
in the bottom.
exactly. Yeah, it's a little bizarre, but and then you can find me on Facebook as well, which I'm assuming you'll write it there too.
Oh, yeah.
Or, yeah. And honestly, I post most of my work on LinkedIn, and I'd love for you to just explore. So I'm not going to say anything. I am going to say that I'm definitely trying to work on a project soon that will be a narrative short film. And I won't say anything about it.
Yeah, well, keep us in mind because I'd love to work more.
Absolutely,
I
100%. Let's do it.
I've been devoid of my working
I love
experience
that.
with Gianluca.
I'm
Let's
gonna
frickin' do
I'm
it.
gonna double down on look up Gianluca LRP on Spotify because I want his numbers to float up so
Let's
high
fucking do
that
it.
new album drops. And
Oh,
you,
yeah.
you can find me at chaotic_artisan on the Instagram or wherever you find this podcast. Just get in on the comment section. Call me a piece of shit. Just get involved. all
Yeah,
right? Let's
yeah.
hear from y'all.
And then you can follow me on Instagram at Beeford Clark. You can follow the show on Instagram at ufostudio.detroit. You can go to our website at ufpodcast.podbeam.com. Check us out on Facebook. Search out Unorthodox Film Podcast. You can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Find us on YouTube or anywhere that
All
podcasts
them
are found.
streaming bitches.
And check out our merch store. We are going to be looking to get your feedback and see what we can do to bring you products that you would enjoy and want to sport at the same time as helping us grow our dreams of being filmmakers. And you can find that at the-ufo-bazaar.printify.me/products. So thank you everybody for listening to #SetLife, and we will catch you next time.
Peace out.
Ciao, ciao.